Hello, hello, and welcome to this week's training. It's so good to have you here. I'm really excited to go over today's topic and honored, honestly, to teach on this topic. This is going to be a great topic. I'm calling it Traffic to Traction, Why Website Visitors Leave Without Engaging. My name is Simon. I'm going to really dive in here with you today and teach you what I've learned when it comes to digital growth, digital marketing, digital transformation, especially in under-tech industries, manufacturing, transportation, et cetera, and for CEOs and growth leaders. So if you're in one of those industries, or any under-tech industry, or maybe you're just an under-tech company, welcome. It's good to have you. And if you're a CEO or growth leader, this is going to really resonate with you. Marketing leaders, sales leaders, you're going to get a lot out of this too. So buckle up. We're going to get going. I'm so excited to have you. The main challenge, the main problem that we're going to dig into, deep dive style today, is this. We're driving traffic, but we aren't getting leads or sales. Or maybe we're not getting the leads or sales we want, or we're not getting enough leads and sales. You could be anywhere along that spectrum. But what we're going to tackle today really addresses we're not really getting any at all, to we're not getting what we want, but we're getting some. But either way, you're not accomplishing your goal. So let's press into this a little bit. Some of the things that you're probably experiencing right now is your website might be getting lots of visitors. You can look on your Google Analytics or talk to your ad guy and he'll tell you, oh yeah, you're getting this many visitors and you're getting this many impressions. They might use words like impressions or views or page views or unique visits or anything like that. But you're looking at it going, the sales team could be busier. We've got like a contact form and it's just not really getting filled out like I'd want it to be filled out. So lots of traffic, not really any sales traction. There's sales and marketing friction happening, right? You have the sales team's like, hey, we're delivering, we're crushing it. Check out all these numbers. And you're like, I don't know what that means, first of all, but second, like, great. The sales team they're not getting leads, right? And the leads that they're getting, if they're getting any, are not really qualified, or they're not really ready, or they're not converting, right? And so you have these expectations and these battles that are happening between sales and marketing. Very, very common. Another one is there's just unclear digital spend and ROI, and you and your team are spending money on digital marketing, spending money on ads, spending money on a website, spending, but it feels like it's going in a black hole because you don't really know what's coming out the other side. If you're getting results, what if the results are helpful, right? 10,000 impressions doesn't really tell you how that contributed to sales. So we're going to attack this a little bit. What you're probably also experiencing is something like this. And I drew this little graph. And basically it's this fragmented experience that a lot of the clients that we work with and a lot of leaders experience, and I personally have experienced in my last companies, and now I help address, which is you're doing a lot of things. You got, blog posts probably going out. You're probably doing some sort of social media. You probably got paid ads going, maybe Google, maybe Facebook, whatever. You've probably got some in-person like networking or sponsorships happening. Maybe if you're sophisticated, you've got a PR firm, or if you're really crazy, you're spending the extra effort on email newsletter or LinkedIn outreach or something like that, right? These are just examples, but what's happening is you're doing a lot. And so we're sitting here saying, we've got traffic. Why aren't we getting any leads? And it just doesn't make sense because you're doing so much work. You're putting in so much effort. You're spending so much money, but like you can't see the results. What's broken? Who's not doing it right? What are we missing, right? These are probably the questions you're asking. Yeah. Why isn't our digital marketing working? Should we increase our ad spender budget? Is it because we're not spending enough? Which you go, I don't know how we could spend any more, but you wonder, hey, is it a spend problem? Is our website design the problem? Does our website just not work? Maybe that's the problem. Maybe our website sucks. It's ugly. People don't, whatever. for some reason. The website's the problem. Or maybe the website's good, maybe the ads are good, maybe we're spending enough, but maybe the market's just not interested, or maybe they don't buy online, right? Have you ever thought these things? Why? And then you look at your competitors, and this gets really frustrating because they look like they're crushing it online, and they look like they're spending 4 times as much as you, but you know, you're struggling, and you say, why are they doing better? So what we have right here is a gap that we're going to close, and we're going to spend the rest of our time talking about this. Is you've got this gap between activity and results. You're doing all the things, but you're not getting all the right results. And really the problem is you're probably not doing the right things, and you're probably not doing the right things in the right way. And it's probably a lot of waste and ineffective resources. So what we're going to do is we're going to dig into why. We're going to dig into how you can fix that and what it looks like. So here we are. Let's fix it. What we're going to do today is we're going to really focus on doing 3 things at the end of this. Is you're going to be able to do 3 things. And that's 1, build a digital marketing system that aligns your spend with your business goals. Wouldn't that be a dream? 1, you got a system, right? Who wants a system? Yes, me. A system works for you. So we want a system. And then also connecting spend with business goals so that you're not just spending and hoping. You're investing and connecting. That's where we want to be. 2, we're going to talk about how to generate qualified leads predictably. Generate qualified leads predictably. Need I say more? That's what we're going to go after, though, is how do we do that? Sorry. Let's go back. Number 3 is create compounding momentum without wasting resources. And this is really killer because the key here is building on wins and building on momentum, getting that inertia going that makes it hard to stop. That's not wasting resources because it's high leverage, high output, and it is you're getting asymmetrical returns. I know that might sound pie in the sky, but bear with me because we're going to actually talk about how you can do this starting today. Just giving you the high overview. As we go forward over the next 45 minutes here, feel free to skip through this if there are certain sections you want to watch or don't want to watch. The whole thing is going to be a deep dive. We're going to go all in, but I realize that some of us may just want to get some of the stuff, but I want to tell you here what you can expect from me through the rest of this time, how I'm going to show up, and what you can expect or plan for. Know what's coming your way. 1 is just no pitches, no fluff. I'm here to give you straight answers and clarity. I'm going to walk you through your biggest challenges you will face with digital growth. I've seen it all. I've seen the big challenges. I've seen the little ones. I've solved them all along the way. I've faced them myself, and I've helped others face them over the last decade. And so I am going to address those, all of them today, related to this topic. I'm also going to just answer your most pressing questions. I literally have a list of FAQs, common questions that I get asked or that I've asked myself over the years. And we're going to tackle those together. And then I'm really going to share how you can take your next step and what that might look like. It's up to you. I know that you are going to walk out of this with something, and you will walk out of this seeing clearer than you walked in. And you will have clarity on your next step. So I know you will have that. I will also offer a way for me to help you if you want that. And that's at the end, again, there's not no pressure, but I do want to help if I can. And if you're looking for that, we might be a fit. But we'll get that at the end. Let's get into this. There are really 2 sides to this topic that I can address, right? There's one side of this topic, the solution, that's like physics oriented, right? And one side, on the other hand, is more psychology. So we've got like the physical and the psychological. We've got the technical side, and we've also got the mindset side. And then we've also got the tactical in the weeds, and then we've got the strategic systematic side, right? So there are two angles that I could take at this topic and address them with you. And what I want you to know as we go forward is that I am going to actually talk about very practical tips and methodology and methods and systems. However, I'm going to take the psychological mindset strategic side of it, just so you know. There's nothing wrong with the physics and the technical and the tactical side. However, that is very complicated, and you probably wouldn't understand a thing I was saying if I went that route. And honestly, that's what most of the people you're probably working with, if you're working with freelancers or agencies, small agencies, or maybe even specialists, is they talk in that technical, tactical language, and it can be hard to understand or follow. And so I'm going to talk to you right through this as a CEO, as a leader, as a strategic growth leader who first needs to know how to think about this solution. And then you can apply others who can do more of the tactical and the technical work to it. So that's how we're going to approach this. Let's continue. Lastly, before we really get into it, I'm still kind of setting the stage. My name is Simon. I've mentioned that I am the founder and CEO of Structure. A little bit about me. Here's a couple pictures of my family. We have 4 kids. My wife, Rebecca, and I have been married for 12 years. This is us, far left top picture, at a winery in Oregon. It's one of our favorite places to go. We used to live in Oregon. Now we live in Arizona, and this is my wife and I on a date night just a few weeks ago, here enjoying some time together without the kids, which both are great. So anyway, about me, I have been in digital marketing for 15 plus years now, really helping B2B and B2C businesses grow. And that's really what I do. I've managed SaaS content marketing. I've directed a content agency team. I've built and sold an online course company, all of that before founding Structure, which I've spent the last 7 years doing. So that's what I've experienced in, which is really, broad in one sense, but it's also really focused in another sense. I've seen different industries and different applications on different scales of companies, all the way from startups to Fortune 500. And I've seen what growth looks like, and I've seen what content looks like, and I've learned at what strategic digital marketing looks like in all of those situations. And I have now spent the last 7 years really bringing that in, codifying it, and course correcting through coaching and consulting with my clients to help them grow. And it really comes down to growth. And that's really what I'm here, which is this next point. I'm obsessed with accelerating digital growth and ROI for under-digitized, privately owned companies. And the ROI part is really, really important here, because you'll find a lot of consultants, a lot of teachers, a lot of advisors online that talk about growth, and they probably know a lot. And some of them, more than me, maybe. But the point is, I'm focused on ROI. I'm focused on proving the results. I'm focused on not just top line growth, but making sure that the top line growth ties in with your vision, your values, and your goals to drive the business forward. Because I don't think it's successful if we don't do that. And the reason that is, I've watched too many marketers just sell fluff over the years and promote growth when it's really just inflating numbers. Nobody likes that, and I'm not going to do that to you. So we want to look at, how do we truly drive transformational digital growth with your company? All right, next. I could probably write a book on each of these points, so I will just try to blaze through. Bear with me. I said you can fast forward or skip through if you want to, or check scores on your phone for whatever games are happening right now. But hopefully you're all in. We're gonna dig in on this together. Okay, next. I am on a mission to make growth systematic and sustainable. So not only accelerated and ROI, but systematic and sustainable, which means on repeat over a long period of time. We're not just talking about the next 3 months or next 6 months. We're thinking in decades, not days. So if you want to build, if you want to build a success, and you want to be known for building a success. And you want to scale a success. That's what we're talking about today. Lastly, structure exists. My company exists because at the bottom line, core, deepest part of it, at the deepest part of the heart, is that business is personal. And we partner with CEOs and growth leaders to help them think bigger and achieve more. And, you know, as a company, we do this, me and my team bridge these gaps along, you know, digital marketing, IT, operations, and really kind of bring those elements together for under-digitized companies and help them really transform digitally. That said, we also do this really cool thing under the surface where we bring coaching and consulting together, where it's not just about growing the company, but it's about building the people. It's about building you, building your mind, building your capabilities. So you walk out of our relationship a stronger, more developed, more aggressive, more clear leader than you walked in. And your company's doing better too. All right, let's keep going. When we get back down to this problem, why are we getting traffic and visitors but not leads? There are really 3 common causes. It comes down to these 3 things almost every time. However, we are going to spend the next little bit unpacking these because it's nuanced and it's complicated. However, if you just want the top bullet point, there are 3 things that you need to fix if you're getting visitors but not leads or sales. 1, your messaging doesn't connect with your ICP or your target audience. The words you're saying on your website don't make sense to them. Doesn't resonate with them. It doesn't click with them. They don't well up and cry like this emoji right here, right? They want to feel the power of what you have to offer. And if they don't, they're going to move on. First problem. Second problem is the customer journey is confusing. They're lost. They don't know what to do next. They don't know what to do next. They try to contact you, but it breaks, or they can't, or they get lost, or whatever. They get dropped off between marketing and sales somewhere in that purgatory. Who knows? That's another very common reason. The third one is literally unclear call to actions, is you're not asking them to do anything. You don't have a big button or consistent buttons or links on your website that tell them what you want them to do, or you're giving them 30 things that you want them to do, not one. Not one. And so if you're sitting here today and you want to know what's the quickest fix, what are the low-hanging fruit, what are the things I can do today without learning anything else, I don't have any time, these are the 3 things you need to fix. Now, if you want to know more, if you don't want to just fix top level stuff and you want to go deeper and you want to fix your mindset and you want to be able to break through anything you face when it comes to this topic moving forward, we're going to keep going and we're going to keep digging in. But this is the top. Today's deep dive, we're going to go into these next things. We're going to talk about other common lead generation killers and what to do about them. We're going to talk about the 3 secrets to success. Others know that you don't. Wink, tongue in cheek on that one. The secret is there is no secret, but there are things that other people are doing that are under the surface that you don't see unless you know about them or you're looking for them. We're going to talk about those. In that way, I guess they are a secret. We're going to uncover a strategy and system that actually drives results. We're going to tackle tough questions with practical answers, tough questions. And I'm going to share clear next steps and actions you can take today. This isn't just work with me. This is, hey, I'm going to help you actually through a series of questions, see what you should do today, regardless of me. And then I'm going to offer to help you if you want it. All right, let's talk about those lead gen killers. Here's a list. Here's a quick list, and let's just rattle through them. These are the things that we do to kill lead generation for our companies. We think they're great ideas, but they're not. They often make it worse. And oftentimes these are reactive, knee-jerk solutions that we throw money at or throw people at in order, pile the bodies on to try to make something happen quick. in reality, they usually backfire and just waste money and don't really give us what we want. And so I want to just get those out in the open so we know what they are. First one is just to blindly drive more traffic. Increase ad spend. Let's go, baby. Let's ramp it up. I mean, you can do that, but if you've got leaks in the boat, the water's just going to leak out again anyway. And you're just going to pour more in. And the next one is to redesign your website again. I don't know if you've done this before, hopefully not too many times, but this is a very common thing for marketing leaders or business owners that don't really understand how this works. Is they will continually think the website's the problem to their marketing lead generation, and they'll redesign it again. The problem is they're they're basically starting from scratch every time, and it's a ton of work. And the problem is really not the website, probably, at least the design. So that is a killer. Offering yet another discount, or just offering a discount. We're not getting what we want. Let's drop the price. Let's give a discount. Is there something wrong with discounts? No, I'm not advocating against discounts. I think discounts could be very valuable. However, throwing a big banner at the top of your website with a discount isn't going to save you. Just going to say it. Trying a new marketing trend. Hey, new platforms up. Hey, we should add this new feature to our website. We need to add this tool in. We should do a chat. I mean, none of those things are bad. Trends aren't bad. Trends can be capitalized on. Banners on the website, features on the website do increase engagement. And website chat isn't a bad idea. However, they're all systems and tools to accomplish a goal. And if you're just going to throw systems, you're just bloating and complicating a technology stack that's going to bog you down. Kills. Quickly launch and kill ad campaigns. This is kind of like throwing money for driving more traffic, but it's really just it's less about throwing money at it, and it's more about not measuring success and just trying a new campaign or a new platform. And it's continually trying, just throwing spaghetti at a wall to see what sticks. Doesn't work. Lastly, cranking through agencies or vendors. So like, who's to blame? This isn't working. Somebody's to blame. Kill them, not literally. I shouldn't say that. Fire them, can them, whatever. Move on. Next. Who else can do it? Hopefully they can do it. Hopefully they'll save us. Next savior. Oh, they didn't do it either. Man, nobody works. We're 10 in and nobody's working. We still just haven't found the right one. It's not true. I mean, you may be really not hiring very well, and that's a possibility. But the truth is, it probably has something to do with you. Just going to say, if you go through that many, it's probably not them at some point. Just so you know, you're going to get a little bit of straight talk with me. I'm here to make us better, and I'm help you grow. And we don't just get that through skimming the surface. So I'm going to get real throughout this, and it's going to be good. I'm going to teach you something I call success stacking. And here's a little illustration I drew up. Hope you love it. It's got some nice colors in my personal handwriting here. And this is success stacking. Now, this is what you need to see in order to fix this problem. Like, if you walked out today with nothing else but knowing that you need to stack success, and there are levels to stacking this success. If you just walked out knowing this, you would be in a much better place. At the bottom level, it's what I call $100 million mindsets. How do you think, not like a $1 million company, 100 million, or a $1 million company, or maybe even a $10 million company? How do you think like a $100 million company? I mean, I can even call it a $1 billion mindset. Well, the point is that we're looking into scale. How do we think at that level, at the next level? Digital growth systems, okay? Not digital growth ad hoc campaigns. How do we build on our mindset and build systems that scale? That's the next stack. The third stack, the top level, is what I call the acceleration loop. And this is, how do we turn that system into a repeating process, a flywheel, a engine, a well-oiled machine that repeats itself, gains momentum, and can build on each other so that you've got inertia and momentum just pushing you forward. So let's dive in. Let's look at the first one, the $100 million mindset. I love this quote from Tony Robbins. I've heard it in a lot of different forms, and actually just recently learned it was from Tony Robbins. Mentor told me this quote years ago, but he said, most people fail in life because they major in minor things. Hey, if, what I'm saying here is if you're a CEO or a growth leader in a company, you shouldn't be thinking about impressions. You shouldn't be measuring social post engagement and views. You should be focusing on lead generation, sales conversion, marketing and sales connection. Those are the big problems that you need to solve. And when you can solve the bigger problems, the smaller things will start to fall into place. And your goal as a leader is to major in the major things. And this is the $100 million mindset. Let go of control of all the little things. Build systems, processes, and people. We're going to talk about this today so that they get taken care of and aren't just out of control chaos. Your focus is to build. Let's see here. Okay, I got lost in my own presentation here, but we're going to keep going. So that's the mindset. What I want to do is build on that mindset, because you need to understand what your leads are doing and the bigger picture so that you can build that system. And that's part of the $100 million mindset. So let's continue on that. What are your leads doing when they come to your site? Well, they're doing a few things. One, they're poking or playing around. So you have to know they're not coming to your site just to buy from you. Sometimes, but that's not the case. Most of them are poking or playing around. They're fact finding. They're looking for information. They're getting ideas and inspiration. They're trying to search around for you and your competitors to figure out what's possible, what could be, what could I dream up. And then they're planning and budgeting. They're looking for, hey, if I buy a solution, what's it going to cost? What's it going to take? How much time is it going to take? How much effort is it going to take? In other words, they're shopping. They're coming to your site because they're shopping. And if you've ever gone out with your wife shopping, you know what this is like. Or if you're a wife and you've gone out shopping, you understand what this is like, right? This is not sexist. This is just like, shopping is a thing that you do to explore and experience. And it doesn't mean you're going to make a decision. Some of us make decisions really fast and don't like shopping, but some of us just like shopping, right? Some of your customers just like shopping. You didn't know that. And that shopping process has a framework, a model. It's called the AIDA model. We can take this very obscure shopping experience that never seems to have a start and never an end, and we can boil it down into a few steps and stages. And this is really helpful to know, because this will help you lead your team, lead your thinking, to know what to expect and how to walk customers through a system in order to buy. So it goes through 4 steps, AIDA. It's called AIDA: attention, interest, desire, and action. Attention is basically when your prospect becomes aware of your product or service for the first time. And that can be through an ad, through a podcast ad, through a trade show, through your website, blog article, so many ways, right? It's just when they first become aware of you. Interest is when they become interested in learning more. So they already know about you and they want to know more. They're then taking some sort of step to read, to look at your product pages, to download a PDF, to maybe talk to somebody. They might even visit a sales office, but they're probably not ready to buy. They're probably just looking for information at this stage. They might book a call, and this is the interest call, discovery process. After they find out some more information, get some feelings, explore, get a sense of what you're about and if they can jam with you, they enter the desire phase. And this is where they really develop a hankering or preference to purchase your product, right? At any point, they could go off and go buy from your competition. and then they're gone. But this is if they stick with you and they really like what you have, they're going to say, I think I actually like this one the best, right? I like this product or this brand or this company the best. And this is when they really develop that. And they're looking for reasons to buy. And then the last step, action, is when they form an intent to purchase the product. This is when they're not just doing a sales call. They want to test drive the car per se. They want to get product samples. They want to get a design quote. They want to really talk to somebody about the pricing. That's like deeper conversations. This is more than just poking around, kicking tires, feeling fabric. This is buying at this point. But the problem is, here's another one of my graphs. And I don't claim to be an artist, but hopefully you get the point. Our expectation on the left is that they just go through the funnel, boom, 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 1, 2, 3, 4, AIDA, buy, cool, that was easy. It was like 4 hours, done. What really happens is what's on the right, which is just a scrambled mess of chaos, right? This is the shopping journey. Now, that's frustrating and depressing. But what you need to know is that your system that you're going to build, your strategy and your system that you're going to build on top of this $100 million mindset, if you're following me, is a system to take them through the journey, the AIDA process, not in chaos, but in clarity. Yeah, that's your opportunity. That's your job, is to figure out what are those steps and how do we get them from, go back, attention to action at the quickest, simplest way possible. That's your job. And your job is to build a system, implement people and processes and accountability so that happens on repeat predictably. Lucky day for you. We have a system I'm going to share with you that you can use to run starting now. But before I share that with you, what I want you to walk away with this mindset is one thing. Don't be asking yourself, how can marketing get easier? You see, we're all just looking for things to get easier and better and faster without more effort. And that would be nice. I'm not against that. But a better question that it will help you get to the solution now and again in the future, over and over and over, is how can our marketing get better? That's the $100 million mindset. My small clients that I had when I first started, or $1 million mindset is how can this get easier? $100,000 mindset is how can this get easier? $100 million mindset is how can this get better? How can we get good? How can we master this? All right. You get my point. Now that you have that foundation of that mindset on the bottom, we're going to build that next level, which is your digital growth system. What is that system that you can push forward to work for you? And this is a flywheel. And this is what I want to teach you is on the left, what you're doing now, this thing over here. Maybe I can circle this. There you go. And this is a well, it's a hand pump and you're just like, try. What you really want is this system. And this really gets into the acceleration loop, but it's this thing on the right. It's called a flywheel. This is more effective, more efficient, and it's exponential. Activities are flowing smoothly from one to the next. Rotations are easier than the previous rotation, and each rotation produces more than the previous rotation, which you can see in this spout of water on the left. You get boop, no more. Oh, now you get more. On the right, you just get this constant stream of flowing. Constant stream of flowing. That's what we want when it comes to your leads. We want a constant stream of flowing. So let's talk about that. Here is your system. Here's your flywheel. What it looks like is 4 main components. Digital strategy. This is alignment. 2 is digital presence. This is activation. We're going to get into what each of these are. So just let me, I'm going to share the high level, and then we're going to keep digging down. The third component is digital content amplification. And the fourth is digital optimization. And this is acceleration, right? You've probably heard words like digital strategy or presence or content or optimization. Maybe they make sense, maybe they don't. But the thing is, when you just shoot them out, they're this isolated thing that you have to figure out that you probably went to school for. But when you create them in this process, you can see how they work together for growth. And this really leads us into the acceleration loop. So this is the system. It's really not complex. It's a machine. It's 4 components that work together to build. Now, the best way to describe it is in the context of the acceleration loop, which is the top piece is where you want to be, because these all work together in 4 phases. And the 4 phases are alignment, understanding and strategic planning, activation, building and refining infrastructure for growth and progress, 4, amplification, which is executing on core content and lead drivers, and 5, acceleration, which is optimize, report, and reinvest to scale momentum. As you can see, I'm going to go back. This digital growth system repeats itself. It goes over and over and over, and it builds every time. And what you get is this is just a nice drawing again for me in the acceleration loop. Is what happens is that people who don't use the digital growth system or acceleration loop get stuck in this 1x, 1-for-1 marketing mindset. What you want to do is you want to be in an exponential marketing mindset, a $100 million mindset, a 10x mindset, and that's up here. And what happens is you take this acceleration loop and you just build and build and build. And that's what we're going to do. So let me explain it more. The first thing is align. In the alignment phase, this is really where you've got to clarify the mission, the vision, and the goals of your organization, of your marketing. And you got to assess your digital maturity and know where we are today. Where do we want to be? And then we got to build a roadmap. So we have to know, what are we going after? What's the target? We've got to know, where are we today? And then we got to figure out, hey, what's that roadmap like from here to there? That's alignment. And this is where it starts. It all starts right here. And you can't start without alignment. So if you are spending more on digital ads, if you're like, hey, let's launch a new campaign, if you're like, let's do a new website, hold up, hold your horses. Too much, too fast, cart before the horse. If you activate or amplify chaos without alignment, you're just going to amplify chaos. Does that make sense? So let's keep going. With alignment, after alignment, instead of just doing random acts of marketing, you're going to have a resolute system of marketing. Activation, step 2. This is where, now that you have alignment across your plans, you've got alignment across your team, everybody knows what we're doing, why we're doing it, we're going to activate. This is where you integrate your website, your CRM, and your marketing tools to make sure they all work in cohesion. They all work together. That customer journey makes sense. You're going to build your digital infrastructure so that the components that you need in order to do what your goals are exist. This is a good time to work on the website. And then you're going to prepare to capture leads. So instead, once after this stage, now you're going to have not just a website that acts like a brochure like it used to. You're going to have a digital presence that actually starts to convert customers. Now, you may not have customers yet. You may not be driving traffic yet, but you're going to have something, a system, digital growth system, a digital presence that works, that could convert customers when you start amplifying it. When you amplify, you're going to execute high impact content and campaigns. This is intentional, aligned with your goals and your strategy from step 1. This isn't just random. This is aligned. But you're going to execute on high impact content and campaigns. And one more thing on that is, we're not just doing one-offs. We're doing what kind of content could be high leverage that could build on itself over time and gain more traction. What's leverageable? What's one to many, not one to one? This is such a key thing, is social media is great, but it's really one-to-one. And a lot of social media only lives on there for 24 hours, like Instagram stories, for example. The ability for that to be leveraged to drive multiplying results is basically non-existent. A very short time frame. My point is, what channels can you use to create content on that will live forever and grow automatically? Those exist. Those exist. I'm not just talking about something random. We're talking about Google search. We're talking about your website, your blog, right? They can be found chat, Google search, all kinds of places, SEO. YouTube, huge opportunity, right? Pinterest is another one. Put it once on, live forever. It's an algorithm. It's a search engine where people can find you over and over again. And the longer you're there and the more you put on there, the more data to amplify. Okay, I got on a soapbox, so hope you bear with me. Focus on the key channels. Now, don't do too many at one time. Do few, get the right ones going, and then fuel lead generation. Eyeballs on your site, eyeballs on your content, because you've got a digital presence that works, that can drive. At this point, the transformation you're going to experience is you're going to eliminate the chaos and the creative that just confuses customers. We've got chaos and we're creating random stuff that confuses people. No more. It's not going to happen. You're going to have content and campaigns that pull qualified leads into your pipeline and infrastructure that works. It's great. See how this builds on itself? See how this is a system that works towards something bigger? Isn't that exciting? It's not just random. It's not just ad hoc. It's just not just throwing spaghetti and money at the wall. It's actually building something that's really exciting, that works for you over time. Last thing is accelerate. This is where you actually need to analyze performance data. You need to optimize what works and you need to improve ROI every cycle. This is really important because a lot of people, a lot of leaders never get to this stage in the growth system. They don't have a system for acceleration. They talk about scale, they push for scale, but scale is about scaling what's working and not scaling what's not. So in order to do that, you have to know what's working and what's not. You have to know where to put more money. You have to know where to build. And so acceleration is really boring in a lot of ways. It's data driven. It's not just, I feel that I want to go fast, although that's a great motivator, right? Emotion creates motion, and don't throw that away. If you're a leader, use that. But what I'm here to say is that is not enough to actually get the results you're looking for. We've got to make data-driven decisions. What's going to happen here, the transformation that you're going to experience when you implement this component or this phase of the digital growth system and acceleration loop, is that you're going to go from feeling like nothing's working fast enough to watching the incremental gains add up to huge results. And just some time and effort of repeating this loop, and you're going to start to see those outsized asymmetrical results. I hope you see how exciting that system is and how that system can really work for you. Let's go back and just pull up this guy again. It's way back here. This success stacking. This is really the key to unlocking growth for your company. And you can do all this today. I've given you the roadmap. You know, it's all there. And these are the things you need to do. Just go execute, right? You can. And I would love if you did run with it. But if you're sitting here going, I need some more, we're going to dive into some misconceptions, some questions, and then how I could help you implement this moving forward. So let's go boom, boom, boom. Boom, misconceptions. Here we are. These are some of the things, the assumptions, the maybe, false assumptions, I could say, that I've made over the past, that a lot of clients that come in and work with us, they make. And we actually we have to work through them. We have to teach them. And I teach them here so that you know, because these are not going to serve you as you move forward. Here's the first misconception. More traffic equals more leads, which equals more revenue. Okay. No, not quite, not a lot. It's a lie. It's not that linear. It's not that simple. I just did a sales training the other day with one of our clients, and the big takeaway from this training, we were talking about lead nurturing and really connecting the marketing to sales pipelines, and solving some of the stuff we're talking about today. But one of the big takeaways for them was that more developed traffic equals more leads equals more revenue. And that's really key. And what I want you to see here is it's not just about more traffic, more eyeballs. More eyeballs will help you, but you can't necessarily mean they'll turn into leads. More quality traffic, the right traffic will turn into the right leads, and the right leads will turn into more revenue. It's not just about quantity. It's about quality. And that's what I need you to take away here is the system that I just talked about, the mindset, the digital growth system, and the acceleration loop are built. The success stack exists to give a quality output. It exists to raise the bar for the kind of traffic you're going to get, the kind of leads you're going to get, and the amount of revenue you're going to get. Right? It's true, is that the better your alignment is, the better your activation will be, the better your amplification will be, and then the better your acceleration will be. And when the quality raises from the bottom up, you're going to get people who are interested in the quality that you're going to bring. But if you're just putting out shit, you're going to get people who don't really care. And that's just the truth of it. Next, if we build it, they will come. This, the let's rebuild or redesign the website is just a great example of this misconception. And I've seen this many times. We've actually had many clients who we have done this for, and we, early on in structure, and we, man, it's frustrating to look back at this because we didn't realize that we started out as a web design agency, and we didn't realize how much education needed to be done on the front end for web design, because it turns out we were solving problems by redesigning, rebuilding websites, right? Because the client would say, we would come in, they say, we need a new website. Great, we can help with that. We did it. We didn't realize is that they had misidentified the solution a lot of times, and we would do a great job, deliver a website, and then they would be upset because the website didn't drive more leads and traffic. And at the time, we weren't really doing strategic work like we are now. We were just doing websites. And we were like, we never even talked about leads, right? That wasn't, we were a production shop. We were producing websites. And it was just constant disappointment from clients until we realized, okay, well, if someone's coming to us for a website, it's because they actually have a problem. And, it's going to benefit us and benefit them if we help them figure out what kind of problem they really have and if the website's the right solution. And what happened, why structure is doing what it is right now, why we are doing what it is right now, is because clients started coming in, asking for a website, and we'd say, cool, let's talk about why you need a website. Okay. And then what happened was, well, we're not getting any leads, but we're getting a bunch of traffic. Okay, gotcha. Well, maybe we should solve that problem and then do a website if needed, but maybe we should try to solve the lead problem. And so what we ended up doing is creating this success stack and this digital growth system acceleration loop today, because if you build it, they will not come. If you build it and you tell them about it, they will come. And that's something really important to remember. Okay. All leads are good leads. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely not true. It's a misconception. It's just like we would just take any leads. The sales team will crush them, right? Or they'll sell them. And The truth is, like, there's a lot of bad leads. And you can waste a lot of time and a lot of money for your sales team with unqualified or unready leads. I think that the data, I was just looking at this the other day, I think it's anywhere between 20 and 50 touch points for a cold lead that comes in. So if you have a marketing qualified lead that comes in cold, that's great. They are a lead. And they might even be a good lead. They might be fit your ICP and be in your market, be ready to buy, but that doesn't mean they're ready to buy. They might need some nurturing. They might need some time. And it might take between 20 and 50 touch points for them to be ready to buy. And so all leads are good leads. Well, no, they're not good. Some leads are good leads, and that's true. And some leads are sales ready leads, which is true. But it's just more multifaceted than all leads are good leads. And you can't just like, period, stop there, done, truth. Why aren't we selling? That's not going to get you very far. Marketing's job ends at getting the lead, then it's all sales. Okay, this is a really good one. Marketing's job ends at getting the lead, then it's all sales. I think that that's probably a legacy mindset there, that once a lead is generated, a salesperson should close it. And this kind of piggybacks on our last topic. Is there's actually two, at least there's more, but if we boil it down, there's really two stages or types of leads, and that's a marketing qualified lead and a sales qualified lead. A marketing qualified lead is a lead that is qualified for being marketed to. They want more information. They want more transformation. They want more inspiration. They want to be marketed to. They want to know if they're like you, if you're like them, if you solve their problem, right? But they're not ready to buy. So the other part of that is a sales qualified lead, an SQL. And that is really, really where sales needs to get involved, because that marketing qualified lead would develop into sales ready. And that's the bottom of the pipeline of the AIDA chart. Is they're not just the top being marketed to, they're actually in the desire action stage, and they want to buy. So you go from cold visitor to marketing qualified lead to sales qualified lead. And there is a handoff in there that's really crucial, and it needs to be determined by your team. What is the handoff? My recommendation is that it has to do with a experience, or there is a marker, a clear line in the sand where that would be, right? So for example, maybe that is maybe your customer goes to your website, checks stuff out, they download like a PDF resource or watch a video about maybe a webinar or an informational video, that they become a lead when they submit information to get that resource, but they're a marketing qualified lead. Then what happens is the next thing you want them to do is you want them to take an action, such as maybe come in to the sales office or schedule a design consultation. It depends on what your product is, but there's some sort of conversation where you want to sit down and you want to talk to them, consult with them, understand their problem, and if you can actually solve it and what it would take to solve it. Now, that's more of a sales conversation. So there's a process in there, and it might be time. It might be 20 to 50 touch points. It might be 2 to 6 months. It might be a year. It might be 3 years, where that's actually all marketing's job until it gets to that conversation. Boom, line in the sand, handoff, sales, right there. That's when the salespeople take it. And that distinction is between MQL and SQL. And that clarity is going to take you far. So that would be my recommendation on that misconception. Buyers need more information to make a decision. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of fact finders out there, and a fact finder probably wrote this misconception, because at some level, buyers need information. There's no doubt that is true. However, they don't just need information. And that's the caveat I make, is they need more than information to make a decision. They need confidence that they're going to have a transformation. And if you can give them a transformational experience, the decision is going to come very easy. So my point here is that people don't want information, they want transformation. They want information to know if they're going to get a transformation. But if you can just deliver transformational experiences, they're going to not worry as much about the information. They're going to just buy based on how they feel. That's not everybody. That's not everybody, but that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. Me, including me, probably including you. And so the focus on this one, it's not that they don't need information. Your information needs to be true, needs to be right, needs to be clear. But don't focus on the information, because then you just end up with a website that looks like a newspaper. Like there's so many words and it's overwhelming and it's not clear what's next, right? You want to focus on how to create transformational experiences, create transformational experiences that move them further and move them ahead in the customer journey faster, because that's how you get to a purchase. Questions. Let's dive in. How can we test and learn fast? Great question. How can you speed up this process to go as fast as possible? How can you make the digital growth system, the acceleration loop, go as fast as possible so that in 3 months you're seeing results? I would say volume. This is a case for more ad spend, a very good case for more ad spend, more resources. I wouldn't throw money at no system. I would throw money at a system, if that makes sense. If you're throwing money at something as a solution without a system, it's just going to go fall. But if you throw money onto a shelf and there's spots for that money to go and be useful, go for it. I don't know if that analogy makes any sense. But what my point is volume. That's how you test and learn fast. I mean, setting expectations is also really key here, because I would say you're going to start, if you build a system and you start amplifying, you will see results in months. I would say 30 to 90 days, you should be starting to see some traction, which is really fast, frankly. It's not 3 days, but that's just unrealistic. But once you build a system and start running the stuff on it, yeah, 30 to 90 days, you should be seeing traction. So just for a second, stop there and say, if you're sitting here today not seeing traction and you want to see traction, build the system, build the system, and you could be 30 to 90 days away from traction. Woo! That's exciting. Next thing off of that is to really start to see real results. You're probably 3 to 6 months from seeing real results. And that's just how it is. From there to scale, you're looking at a year, 1 to 3 years to start to see exponential scale. So let me give you an example. Is one of our clients, we started with them back, man, it's been 7 years now. It was actually near when we started the company, I guess. And we started creating blog posts for them at the time, blog posts and videos. And they had like 100 visitors a month on their website. No leads, 100 visitors. We started creating this content, and we're just putting stuff up. And I think we did, a video a month, 4 blog posts a month or something like that. Just started stacking, just create a system, started building. We didn't really look at results for like a year. We just worked. We just put stuff up. Now, I would recommend that you measure results earlier and you bake that into your system. At the time we didn't, but that's a little bit beside the point. My point is more on the timeline. After about a year, we looked at it and we said, hey, do we want to keep going for another year? And that's when we looked at the results and we were like, holy crap, we're getting 100,000 visitors to the website now. in a year's worth of time. How did we blow this up? Well, we put up content, right? And we started building. And so, but that was a year's worth of time. We started really seeing a lot of visitors. Now, years later, we're looking at millions of visitors. We're looking at tens of thousands of leads because we've really built a massive system there. But it all started back at that one point. So I think I've gotten a little off track with my question, but I wanted to share that to set expectations about testing and learning fast. Okay, what do our successful competitors do differently online? They have a system. That's what they do. They've got smart leaders with $100 million mindsets and systems that scale. And that's what they do differently. So if you aren't winning, it's because you don't have a system to sell and to scale your marketing. That's what's different. They've been doing it longer and they've been doing it better. And so you have the same opportunity in front of you. You can do it better and then just do it longer, and it will work for you too in your own unique way. And it will look a little different, but you can actually see the same results. It's not a magic pill that anyone can give you right away, but it is a system. And that's a strategy and a system. That's the answer. Okay. Are we measuring the right things? Probably not. I would really focus on, as a leader, making sure you're measuring 3 levels of metrics. Top level, I talk about this all the time. Top level of metrics is your company goals: leads, sales, return on ad spend, not return on ad spend, return on investment. You want to know cost per lead. Like, you want to know ROI metrics, company goals. Next level, you need a manager to manage channels and platforms and results there. So you need to know, how is Meta ads working for us? How is Google ads working for us? How is our blog working for us? How are these channels performing? What are the best performing channels? What do we need to invest in? What do we need to prune? And how do we grow? Then you need tacticians, technical experts, specialists who are measuring, and they all need to be responsible for this. You aren't responsible for this as a leader. Different people are. They are measuring, like these specialists need to be measuring the per post, per deliverable, per video basis. Did that work? What worked well? What didn't work well? And we need to create a feedback loop so that goes up the chain, and so that the managers can learn, okay, on this platform, this is what works and what doesn't. This platform doesn't work at all. This platform works with these types of posts. And then what you keep doing is you stack successes. And that's pretty much the trick. And it takes time and effort. My other note on this would be that you should measure success in as many ways as you can. As many ways as you can. And you can always stop measuring success later if the measurements aren't helpful. But I would start with as many ways as you can, because you learn by measuring and seeing what works and what doesn't. We have a tool called the Digital Growth Dashboard. And it's an exceptional tool we use with our clients. Every client gets one that we fill out for them every month, and they can see all these metrics, all tiers, all platforms, company goals. It's awesome. And I would love to share a template if you want one. But that's a great tool to have some sort of dashboard to measure that success. So let's keep going. What happens after a lead comes in? Great question. As we talked about this earlier, marketing's job is really to nurture, to capture, generate, nurture, and develop marketing qualified leads for sales. And you've got to know when the process, what's that next step that you're trying to get them to. So if it's some sort of sales conversation, what happens after a lead comes in is whatever needs to happen to get them to the sales conversation. I mean, it sounds simple, but it's really what it is if you have a map, a roadmap, it's reverse engineering. Where do they come in? Where do we want them to be? And what steps need to happen in between to get them to that place? That's a strategic answer. Right after a lead comes in, I mean, they need to get a welcome email. They need to get whatever resource they asked for. And they might even need to get a call or a text or both from somebody, a person, to know that they're cared for. So they need to be touched by your team, for sure. How do we know how easy or hard it is to convert in our site? Great question. I mean, you start measuring conversion rates. You know what a form converts at, how many people saw the form, and how many people filled it out, you know? And then you set a benchmark for you, and you see how good you can get it by making changes and tests on it. And that's how you know. And you can measure against industry metrics or benchmarks to know if it's working out or not, just at the start. But then you want to basically set your own benchmarks and compete against yourself. Another way to do that, I mean, measuring is the best. Another way is just to ask. There's, ask like friends, ask customers, set up meetings with customers and have them try to use your site, watch them, record them, take notes, pay them, thank them, whatever it is. But like just user testing is a great way to know how easy or hard it is converting your site. You can do that with in-person customers. Is a great way. You can do it virtually through a video call. Great way too. There's even tools out there. I think it's like userfeel.com, usertesting.com. There's some great tools out there that you can basically pay per user, and they're just random people that sign up to test, and they will test your site. And that's also a great way to kind of get just some data points and some initial feedback on some of the biggest hangups, because they guaranteed, I've done this a lot of times, actually. It's fascinating. They will point things out that you never thought of. And you're like, what? How did they find that? Or, oh man, I didn't even see that. Or wow, they saw something really interesting there. So feedback. What questions are our potential customers asking that we're not answering? Yeah, such a great question. I'm going to piggyback off that feedback loop that I just mentioned. I mean, again, user testing, get them to talk while they're testing and get some questions, then you'll know. Sales people also often know, because they talk to customers and they get a lot of questions. And so if you can collect or keep a log of all the questions, that'll be a great resource. Those are some of the great ways. And I really just think talking to people is the best way to get that information. You can search on Google, you can use ChatGPT's deep research feature, and you can get great stuff there. I mean, for real, that's also a great way to do it. You're just dealing with information there, not a lot of emotions. So I think if you're wanting the nuances, if you're wanting under the surface, if you're wanting layers, if you want to really understand, talk to people. But chat, Google are great ways to start and get some basic initial questions that you can start tackling. Where in the journey are we losing people? Oh, this is a great question. I'm going to dedicate my next training, or one of my next trainings, to this topic. Where are our marketing gaps, and how do we find them, and how do we fix them? I might even call it find and fix or something like that. But the point is, it's hard to know. How do you do that? And, the answer, can I simplify it here? That's the question. The answer really comes down to measuring success. And when you start measuring your system, so I guess having a system is important too. And then measuring your system, you start to see gaps. The reason that you don't know now where you're losing people in the journey is because you're just random. If you're not sure, it's just because things are random. And I get it. Like, I've been there. I've got things that are random right now. We've got clients, things that it's like very common, right? We're humans. We are random. We're inconsistent. We're reasonable, but we're not necessarily rational all the time, right? So you're not weird, but the trick is to get away from the randomness, get more systemized, and start measuring. That's really the answer. I don't need to say it again. I've said it 3 times already. Takeaways. Okay, here we are. We're getting near the end. Most companies that wait on this lose another year stuck trying to figure things out. And this is my call to action here, because you can take this. You can say, great, wow, cool webinar. I'm inspired. Cool training. I'm inspired. We should implement this. Nothing, right? And my call to action to you is don't wait another year trying to figure this out. Start now, because it's going to take time. So if you have the chance, I'm going to rally through a few questions here. If you are in a reflective mood and you want to take away some very tactical, practical action steps for you, I encourage you to take out a piece of paper, write down these questions, and do a little reflection. But if you don't want to do that right now, I'm going to rally through these and we're going to kind of wrap up. But if you want to, hit pause, reflect, and we're going to have a few questions. So the first one here is, what are the dangers, opportunities, and strengths that you see today when you think about your marketing, when you think about your challenge? If you're still here, this is your one of your biggest challenges is we've got people, but we don't have leads. We've got visitors, we don't have leads or enough leads. What's the danger of that? What dangers are in the way of fixing that? If you don't fix that, what would be the danger? What would happen to the business? What would happen to your job? What would happen to the department? What are some opportunities that you see for how you could fix that? How you could solve that? And if you did solve that, what's possible? What's possible? So imagine you fix that instead of staying stuck. Where would you be? And what are some strengths, some resources, some tools that you have right now that you could leverage or use to get some momentum, to start that momentum? What do you have to work with? What are some strengths that you have, skill sets, team members, any of that? What do you see? What do you have? Next question. If you move forward and you take action on everything you outlined, you've got dangers, opportunities, strengths lined up. You've got everything we talked about. You've got a $100 million mindset. You've got a digital growth system. You've got an acceleration loop. If you move forward and take action, what might success look like in just 90 days? What's possible in 90 days, realistically? How many leads could you have? How might your sales team feel? How might your job be impacted? If you don't do any of those things and you stay exactly where you're at today, what will it cost you in the next 90 days? Zoom ahead 90 days from today's date. Nothing happens. What would you have missed out on? These are important to reflect on. These are really crucial. And it really helps you know what's important. And you might walk out of this going, we got to fix this. Or you might go, yeah, this really isn't that big of a deal. We should fix something else instead. Both are great outcomes. Great outcomes. But either way, you've got a next step. And if you are struggling with this problem, and if you are trying to figure it out, and it is important, and it is urgent, and it is high impact, and you need to fix it right now, you have 2 options. And the first one is this: do more and hope it works. Just keep doing more and hope it works. More random stuff, maybe something will click. Keep trying random tactics. Just keep trying. I mean, eventually something will stick, right? Maybe. And just keep chasing short-term wins and stay frustrated, right? Because you're never really building long-term momentum. Hopefully, I don't know if I was supposed to say that, but that's, this is not a great option. You could do this. I would not encourage you to, but you can. The other option is to join me for a digital strategy workshop. This is a better option. I hope you take it. If you're still watching, I want to invite you to join me, my team, for a digital strategy workshop. This is a 1.5 day in-person workshop in Scottsdale, Arizona. Bring your team and we will get to work. Scan this QR code. It'll take you to a page where you can sign up and schedule a discovery call to make sure you're the right fit and we can serve you in the best way possible. Or go to wearestructure.com/start to get started. You can see this picture on the left that is me and a client of ours, a couple of them, and in a recent workshop here, and it was a great workshop. I love hearing things like they walked out of that and said, "I know my business better than I did when I walked in," and to hear that after they've been in business for 20 years is insane. It's so rewarding, and they walked out with incredible clarity. So what the workshop will do and what you'll get is that I will help reveal misalignment between the vision, the values, and execution. What you say, where you want to go, and what you're doing, where it's broken, and where we can fix it. We'll identify what's weak or not working, and we'll also double down on what is working. We'll make a plan, a clear and actionable plan to get you where you want to go, saving you years of trial and error. It's a great process. It's a great time. It's a great experience, and it's very valuable. These are just some pictures from recent workshops, some different folks. We always do some fun stuff too, and I like to show that because we like to go to eat. We'll do a hike maybe if you're up for it. We always like to find some sort of peak or summit to get to the top too. We've done wine tours. And so we just have a great time, and we solve the business problems, but we also solve, we get the chance to like tackle just challenges under the surface and become better, stronger people in it too. It's always building up for both of us. So if you scan that QR code, we'll go back here or go to wearestructure.com/start. What you'll do is you'll be taken to a page like this where you will book a discovery session with our team. And this is here just to understand more about what you're up against. For us to get clarity, identify the opportunities, build kind of your roadmap, and make sure that we can serve you and give you everything we've got. And we want this to work for you, and we want you to love it. And so we don't want you to waste your time on the wrong thing. If there's any wrong fit, or if we can't serve you, if that's true, we will do what we can to send you in the right direction. I really would love to serve you though, if it's possible. So that is the pitch. At the end, that is the story. That is the training. Thank you for joining me. I'm just very grateful that you stuck with me for this long and gave me the chance to teach on this topic today. So thank you so much. Hope to see you in a workshop soon. Have a great day.